Hey, what's up? I'm Robert DeLong, and this is Records in My Life.
A second inside of the truth. I don't see red, 'cause now my favorite color is blue. Yeah, we could be so much more. Let's be more than ordinary.
Thanks for being on the show. How are you?
Amazing. How you doing?
Good, thank you. What's new and exciting?
What's new and exciting? I don't know. Everything's new and exciting. Every day's a winding road or whatever.
Oh, to Sheryl Crow.
There you
It
go.
was Sheryl Crow, right? Did it then?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Okay. Tell us about your latest record and the inspirations. Did you work with someone? Give us all the nuts and bolts.
Sure. Well, yeah, my newest EP that I just put out is called See You in the Future. And it's 4 tunes, and they're all from very different places, both sonically and songwriter-wise. I wrote the first song, Revolutionary, with a couple guys in LA that are like friends that are in electronic pop projects of their own. And then I wrote the next one with my friend K-Flay.
Right.
She's featured on it as well. Favorite Color's Blue. And that one's been out for a hot minute, which is great. And that one was like really just a chance meeting at a bar, and we ended up hanging out and writing a tune. And then the last 2 I wrote with some other songwriters, and then mostly on my own. And then it kind of all came together with, I think that the songs all sort of share the same theme of sort of reflecting on, like, I don't know, like anxieties about the future or something like that. And then, you know, kind of all played out in different ways, whether it's technology or politics or like, you know, internal struggles or whatnot.
Let's go on with the future bit. I know your music. I mean, there's a lot of influences in your show, and we're a science fiction buff from what I've read. Am I mistaken?
No, that is true.
Did
Yeah,
I do
absolutely.
poor research? Or?
No, you did great research.
So let's talk about the future a bit, and we'll like, you know, we're living. Robots are pretty relevant, obviously. Let's say the robots are taking over, or when they take over.
Ooh.
For all you, and they want to erase culture. So they say, Robert, you're allowed to keep 1 record from your collection. I know it's a tough.
No, it's super easy. It would be Boards of Canada, Music Has the Right to Children. Yeah.
That's incredible. That's so fast.
Yeah. No, I love that record. It's the one.
That's amazing.
Thanks. I mean, I didn't write it. But.
No, but it's amazing how fast you can, because it's a tough question.
Yeah.
So you.
No, I don't know. That's one of those records that's like, it's always stuck with me, and I've never gotten sick of it, and I always find something new and interesting in it. And I think it also helps that it's so, I mean, it's just a timeless sounding record. It's like the sound of the 70s through the lens of late 90s electronic production, but it's kind of otherworldly and sounds like nothing else.
And what's out today, which, what are you gravitating to these days?
I don't know. I mean, in recent years, I've listened to a lot of different stuff. Everything from, I like things like Pascal, which is kind of more like techno-oriented, but it's like kind of beautiful ambient sounds. I listen to a lot of electronic music, but I also listen to stuff like Valley Maker. He's a local Seattle songwriter,
right.
Kind of doing, I don't know what you'd call that, like sad psych pop.
Is he a folky, sad? Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's lots of crying and you know, alone in your room and
a lot of people are crying these days.
Yeah, well, it's true. Yeah, I don't know. What else do I listen to? I mean, obviously, I love, you know, modern, like, high production stuff like Flume, I think, is one of those guys that's really killing it out there. And, you know, I always go back to J Dilla, just, you know, on a weekly basis. But yeah.
Donuts.
Yeah, amazing.
You're from the Seattle area originally. You live in Los Angeles now, right?
I do, yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm a traitor.
Do you miss the rain? Do you miss the rain in Seattle?
We were just in Seattle yesterday, and it was like doing that drizzle thing where it just rained all day, kind of slowly, and I was like, nah, I don't miss this part. In the summer when I'm there, I'm like, I can't believe I'm ever moved from here. It's the most beautiful place in the universe.
Right.
Yeah.
Seattle has a really rich musical history in the area, like Jimi Hendrix and the Sonics, Deathcab for Cutie, although they were from Bellingham, I'm thinking, right? Is it Seattle or from Bellingham?
I think they're from Bellingham, though. To be fair, I think Chris Walla grew up in Bothell, where I grew up. Right. So, you know, connections.
And there was a little band called Nirvana. So give us one of your favorite bands from that area.
I mean, yeah, there's all sorts of bands. I mean, I think Deathcab for Cutie was like kind of on the rise when I was in high school. I graduated high school in 2004. So that was one that I really connected with a lot. And, you know, that album, We Have the Facts and We're Voting Yes, I listened to probably, you know, I think I destroyed like 4 different versions of that CD, you know. So, yeah, that was the one that definitely impacted me a lot. But, I mean, like everybody, I think Nirvana is some of the most interesting, cool songwriting of all time. You know, I'm a big fan of Modest Mouse. you know, I don't know. Yeah, all that Seattle music influenced me a lot. And I think the way I think about melodies and all that.
Is there a Modest Mouse record for? Because they had a pretty large catalog.
Sure.
Were you there like?
Moon in Antarctica was mine. That was the record that I listened to probably the most. I think again, it's just I was at that right age when that record came out, you know, for it to really impact me. Yeah.
And what's the last record you bought?
Oh, I don't know. I
Putting you on.
bought a record. You know, actually,
you're a musician. You get records sent. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think actually, weirdly, the last record I bought was probably Visible Cloaks, Reassemblage, which is like some ambient music from Portland. Yeah.
And you started playing music as a young kid playing drums. Was it the drums you played first?
Yep.
Or?
Yeah.
So was there a record that you learned to play along with? You remember the first one or second one? Or
I think the record I played along to the most was another Seattle band, Presidents of the United States.
Right.
The first record, yeah. And I think that's the perfect music to learn as a young drummer because it's like, you know, he played with a hi-hat, a snare drum, and a kick drum. I think that was it. You know, and a splash cymbal. Yeah, it was tight. So, yeah, definitely.
Are they still around? Are they?
I don't know. I mean, I went to one of their high schools when I was in. I went to one of their concerts when I was in high school, and they were still 15 years out of having a record that anybody listened to.
And what album should be in everyone's collection?
What album should be in everyone's collection?
Yes.
I mean, it sounds cliche, but Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon. Yeah.
What's the first record you bought?
The Jurassic Park soundtrack. But probably the first real like album I got was a Pat Metheny record, and I can't even remember which record it was. Yeah.
Well, speaking of soundtracks, you are, as I was going to say, we were talking about earlier, science fiction. You're a visual person.
Sure.
What is your favorite soundtrack?
I mean, you know, I think a really iconic and amazing sci-fi soundtrack would be 2001: Space Odyssey. I mean, there's something just like so insane about that. Kind of on the same tip, but a more modern version. That movie that came out last year, blanking. With Natalie Portman, and it was like so. Annihilation. Ooh, Annihilation, dude. The soundtrack for Annihilation is something else. It's like the mix of insane electronic sounds that I've never heard, and then, you know, mixed into like acoustic folk songs, and it's really cool. I don't know, it's something else.
Let's check that out. Let's do one last one. We live in, you know, kind of rough times. What's a good record to kind of send like a positive political message? I know your president might not get the idea.
Yeah, well,
but
I don't
for
know.
Other people,
I don't think he listens to the music. I don't know what would be. You know, I don't even know what the answer I would go with is probably. Shoot, I'm just trying to think of something that's like fun and nice, make people happy. I don't really listen to any music like that.
Joy Division.
Yeah, right there you go. Joy Division. I don't know. This is a good question though. You're putting me on the spot with this one. Let's see. What is a good record for the political climate right now? I'm just gonna go with an easy answer that has nothing to do with anything, but it makes people happy. Postal Service, Give Up.
Good. Yeah, that's a good one. We like to ask all our guests this. I'm not. You're wearing a suit. You look,
sure.
I mean, you look you look serious, and you're wearing a suit. But we'll ask for some advice and words of wisdom.
Words of wisdom. Oh yeah. For anything, any words?
Everyday life.
For everyday life.
Yes.
Exercise every day. You know, have lots of friends, but most importantly, have a good time.
Perfect. Thank you so much for watching, and please subscribe.
And if you're really feeling it, please hit us up on Patreon. Cheers.